Sometimes you notice it without thinking. You're scrolling through your feed, just half present, and yet you feel the weight of someone else's life laid bare in endless posts, photos, updates, and commentary. You pause, and there's this quiet recognition. You've never felt compelled to do the same. Not like that. Most people assume that keeping things private or holding back is a lack of openness, or that it signals discomfort with connection. But that's not actually what's happening. There's something more subtle, more intentional, quietly shaping the way you navigate the digital world. It can feel isolating in a way that no one talks about. People often misinterpret this restraint as disinterest, coldness, or even indifference. Friends might joke about you being mysterious, or they might wonder why you don't share more of yourself. There's a tendency in society to equate self-expression with value, to assume that if someone isn't broadcasting their inner life, they must be holding something back, or worse, that they're somehow incomplete. And yet, this pattern isn't a flaw. It's not a failing or a problem to be fixed. It's a rhythm of thought and feeling that quietly protects and organizes your inner world. What I'm really talking about is why Generation X in particular often doesn't overshare online. This tendency is usually explained too shallowly, as if it's a simple generational preference or a quirk of upbringing. There's more happening beneath this than people realize. It's rooted in a combination of psychological, neurological, and social factors that shape how you process, respond to, and regulate information about yourself. It's a pattern that has emerged from lived experience as much as from temperament. At its core, this restraint reflects a nervous system that learned the subtle power of observation over exhibition. Early experiences teach the value of discretion, the protective advantage of measuring exposure, and the quiet strength of holding private spaces. Neuroscience tells us that when people repeatedly encounter unpredictable or overstimulating environments, the brain develops an adaptive response, a heightened sense of boundaries, and a preference for private reflection over public display. For someone shaped by this pattern, posting endlessly or seeking affirmation in the form of likes and comments doesn't feel rewarding in the same way. It can even feel uncomfortable, activating a subtle tension in the body, a sense of vulnerability that isn't worth the fleeting payoff. But here's where it becomes more interesting. This isn't a matter of being antisocial or disengaged. It's an internal calibration, a way of preserving emotional energy while still participating thoughtfully in the world. Many Gen Xers grew up in a space where social feedback was slower, more deliberate, and less instantaneous. Letters, landlines, and face-to-face conversations dominated communication. There was time to pause, to process, to consider how words and actions might ripple outward. This shaped a mindset where self-expression isn't impulsive, it's intentional. Your nervous system learned that revealing too much too soon could be destabilizing. You developed a kind of quiet resilience, a reflective capacity that allows you to hold complexity without needing external validation. There's another layer most people miss. This subtle restraint creates an internal architecture for emotional regulation, self-reflection, and measured response. This way of being is not better or worse than alternatives. Different nervous systems adapt differently. Some thrive in constant transparency and performative engagement, finding connection in sharing and immediate feedback. Others, like many in Gen X, find clarity, coherence, and security in maintaining private mental and emotional spaces. Neither is superior, neither is deficient. It is simply a reflection of the environment you navigated and the survival strategies your mind adopted along the way. And yet, there's a paradox here. The very skill that allows you to navigate life with such quiet control, the capacity to observe, to measure, to reflect, can sometimes make you feel invisible in the noisy world of online life. You hold back, and while it shields you, it can also create a subtle distance from others who interpret visibility as intimacy. You may notice this occasionally, a quiet tension between wanting to connect and preferring discretion. It's a trade-off, not a mistake, and it's one that carries both strength and cost in equal measure. Still, the experience makes sense. Your pattern has logic. You are not broken. The inclination to keep certain parts of yourself private is a carefully honed skill, a reflection of experience, temperament, and subtle internal wisdom. It is a method of navigating a world that can be both overstimulating and demanding, a quiet strategy for preserving emotional balance. Understanding this doesn't change who you are. It simply illuminates why you move through the world in the way that feels most natural. If this resonated with you, there's more to uncover about how your mind works. The way you observe, process, and engage is layered and nuanced, carrying insight into the deeper architecture of your internal life. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe because more interesting content is on the way.